Are you nearly ready? What's that?
Tea.
Tea?
Tea.
No, I thought...
No, I've got some instant, but I'm not a fan.
Okay, I really don't have the time for this.
Well, you asked.
Can we go on?
Yeah.
Where's mine?
Your what?
Tea.
Tea?
Yes.
You want tea? I mean, I can make you a cup if you want me to. Do you want a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Okay. You realise that...
Chop.
What I've come to realise over time is how little I understand about you. I thought if I was attentive and alert to your behaviour, I'd know you well. What was it that the philosopher said? Oh, hold on, I'll just go. Actually, it doesn't matter, because it turns out not to be true. Here you go.
Thank you.
I mean, you can't drink it.
I remember when weeks took weeks to pass. The last 2 weeks before the school holiday. The weeks before an exciting concert that had been booked months in advance. The weeks between making an arrangement for a night out and it actually happening. I have now made it my life's ambition to regain that sense of endless time, eternal days stretching into the future. I'm not sure yet how I'll do this, I have only just started. And of course the brain doesn't work that way. Nevertheless, with perseverance, tenacity and a bit of luck, I reckon I'll have a solution in, say, a couple of weeks.
The thing you have to remember is that the brain processes time in different ways. So when you're learning something new, the brain has to sort of like really work hard to understand that. And that makes the experience of that feel quite elongated. When you know it all, it can do it really quickly. When you're younger, obviously, you're doing new things all the time. And that's why being young feels like such an elongated amount of time. When you're older, most of the things you do, you've done before. So the brain can just knock it out of the park. And that's why time seems to go that much quicker. The problem is that isn't true. It can't be. Not the whole story. What do you mean? I spent lots of time doing nothing. I'm sure you have too. Of course. And yet, it's still when I'm sat doing nothing that the time seems to go most slowly.
Waiting for the bus to arrive, waiting for the kettle to boil, waiting for the friend to arrive at the pub, waiting for a delivery, waiting for the signal to change to let your train pull into Oxford Road, waiting for the tedious play to end or website to load, waiting for sleep. I used to enjoy walking by this brook, sitting by a bend where the bank sloped down gently. There was an old tree trunk that I could sit on while I had a picnic, read a bit of my book, watch the water gently flow by. I used to spend hours there. It's very relaxing.
In my experience, things become ordinary very quickly. Things change, what was there before gets forgotten, circumstances adapt, people move on. Things you used to do, you no longer can do, you no longer mind. Everything is normal, except love. In 1938, a famous philosopher walked into his publisher's office and was handed a book. As he flicked through the pages, he found he had an idea. But before he could make a note of it, his publisher offered him a cigar, and it was lost to history.
No one cares about Sartre.
You're probably right. In my opinion, things become ordinary very quickly. You're probably right. But it doesn't stop the time from passing. No. It doesn't stop the memories emerging from sleep. No. Doesn't stop the desire for what could have been. No, that's true. But it doesn't stop it being pointless. What you have to remember is that history goes round first as tragedy and then as comedy, except that it repeats in a cycle, round and round. Tragedy, comedy, tragedy, comedy. And you never know which one you're going to come in on.
Not yet.
Did you finish your tea? No?
Just letting it cool down a bit. How many sugars did you put in it?
2.
Okay.
Is that okay? Too many?
It's
Too
fine.
few?
I was trying to cut down anyway.
Your figure?
Yes.
Tea first appeared in England in the 17th century, popularised in the middle of the century when it appeared in the public coffee houses. Hugely expensive, the tea chests in which it was stored were often the most secure places in the household. In the early 20th century, we see the invention of the tea bag, and the rest, as they say, is history. Imagine not having tea bags. Imagine not having tea.
Imagine not having tea bags, or not having tea, and thinking forward. Do you think they could imagine tea, or tea bags? And if not, how is the world going to be different in the coming centuries in small ways that you can't yet imagine?
I don't know. I can't imagine.
Can you imagine that there will be things you can't imagine?
Knowing someone's past is a good guide to knowing their future, but it's not infallible, because people can always surprise you. Not often, but it can happen. Unfortunately, that surprise most often manifests as disappointment. For example, I thought I knew you, but it turned out you did not want to be known.
One thing I've learned from this whole experience is that learning is not all it's cracked up to be. What did all that learning benefit then, eh? Learning is something that should be used sparingly, like chocolate sprinkles on cappuccino.
I find spending time in a cemetery very poignant. Throws me backwards and forwards in time.
Like chocolate sprinkles on a cappuccino.
I am not the same person I was when we first met. Not even the same as when I made you your brew. Cells have grown, old ones have been shed. But that's fine. I'm still me, I guess. The extent of who a person is must be reliant on what a person is. The oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, magnesium, barium, chromium, cobalt, copper, fluorine, iodine, iron, manganese, molybdenum, selenium, silicon, tin, vanadium, zinc. Is that it?